It's better than the last time she recorded that. And you were in a mood. By the way, I had to paint the square jar in my house for that, so thanks. Appreciate it. My kids must have been scrolling through Instagram and that story came up, making running down there. You owe us $5. Anyway, it's for a good cause. It's for a good cause.
Okay, are we ready? Are we recording?
We're always recording.
Okay. We're fine. Suck it up. It's gonna be fine.
That needs to be deleted. Suck it up, you're gonna be fine. Because here we are for another episode
of Shut Up and Listen.
Small Town Stories
With Sarah
and Renee.
Well, Happy New Year, Sarah.
Well, Happy New Year to you as well.
Our first episode of 2023.
Oh, yeah, look at us.
I know.
Year two.
Have you gotten used to writing the 2023 yet?
Yeah, I can't really say I've written it a lot. I did catch myself today, earlier, typing 2022. So we'll get there. Life struggles. These are hard.
Well, I'm excited to be back for year two.
Me too.
And, I know that we had talked about at the end of last year the direction we wanted to take the podcast this year. And we're going to take it, it's still going to have our shining personalities. And
I mean, the fans would be so disappointed if
I know. But we're going to start looking at maybe some bigger issues. And so we thought we would start this first episode with one of the biggest issues we see in this office.
Yes.
Not just locally or regionally or statewide, but nationally and even internationally. And that is workforce.
Yes.
And so as we were talking about this subject matter, we immediately thought of JYoakam as our guest for today's episode, because we have been working with Jason on some very exciting things, which we'll tell all of you about as we go into this episode. But Jason, welcome to Shut Up and Listen.
Thank you so much. I actually feel very comfortable here on this couch,
I'm
but
glad.
It's an awkward comfortable,
Oh, we've had guests before that are a little afraid.
Yeah,
don't be afraid.
It's a little intimidating.
It shouldn't be,
but I'm excited though.
Okay, your eyes say differently.
Okay. The body language, the facial expression. Yeah, you look super comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yes, we'll just make fun of you a little bit, and we'll just keep moving on.
That's okay. I'm good.
You're getting a little red.
I am. I'm feeling a little hot.
The pressure.
But we'll move through this.
We will.
What a great topic, though, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I mean, it's something that we all, as business owners and people in the community, face is workforce.
Yes.
Workforce issues.
But before we dive into that,
yes,
introduce yourself and your business to our listeners, because a lot of people may not know you or what you do.
Right. So my name's JYoakam. I have JYoakam Communications. I've been fortunate to be a small business owner for 20 plus years. 15 of it just solely Yoakam LLC. So on my own as a sole proprietor from that standpoint in the marketing, advertising space, helping companies like yourself, like the Chamber, like Fostoria, FEDC, just trying to figure out how to tell a story and how that resonates with the community and how we can really showcase really what we have here and what a great community we have.
You have a variety of clients.
Yeah, I mean, our client list really is really diverse, from manufacturing companies to nursing home, long-term care, to banking institutions. So it really goes the gamut of the types of clients that we support. It may sound like we don't really specialize, but yet I feel like we do, because we want to help somebody really understand who they are as a brand, position themselves within the market, and then let's just figure out how to tell a really good story that's compelling. So with that, we're doing website development, we're doing videos, we're doing some videos with you guys, design pieces, public relations, social media. It all works together when you start telling a really good story.
And having been in the business you've been in for 20 years, I've been able to kind of witness that. You've partnered with the chamber on a lot of different things, and watching your business grow. But in the industry that you're in, you have to be super nimble, and it's constantly changing. And I have to commend you, because I think you've done a tremendous job at that.
Well, thank you. I mean, it has changed. I mean, I'll date myself just a little bit here, that when I first started out in this industry, I was working at an agency in Findlay, Harvey Advertising, and Ron took me in pretty much almost right out of high school, and I was going through Owens, taking courses there, and we had a black and white stat camera. We were copying and pasting all the headlines, on boards with sticky glue and everything. And to tell somebody that we used to do an ad like that, and now we're like, I can just do that on my computer now. So you're right. There's just been so many changes within our industry of going from that kind of almost very archaic way of developing a piece of artwork to now where we're at from a digital standpoint, that things can be turned around very quickly, but I still think there's a real need for what is the strategy, what's the communication goal, and what is the brand, the look and the feel for the organization. So even though we have these great really advancements in technology, I think it still really comes back to the people and their creativity and what we do as a collaborative group.
Yeah. And that's a great segue to talk about the partnership with Fostoria and Workforce, because between your team and Renee's team, you've come up with some really outside of the box ideas. So I'm gonna let you kind of run with that, because I think it's super exciting.
Yeah, it's great tee up.
So just a little background. Workforce development is something we're seeing just across the board, whether it's a small restaurant in town or a large manufacturer. And the fact of the matter is that these issues are not going to go away, because we simply don't have enough people to fill the roles that we have in the workforce. And with COVID and people exiting the workforce and smaller families, baby boomers retiring, it's just left a lot of gaps. And from an economic development standpoint, going out and meeting with our businesses, it was the number one issue we were hearing. And we can't, it's difficult to create new people. And so that's not really what we figured that out yet.
Cloning thing hasn't taken off yet.
So we started strategizing about what can we do locally here in Fostoria to help both short-term and long-term, our companies, big and small, fill this gap. And we like to keep it local. So of course we reach out to Jason, and we had conversations about ideas a year and a half ago, at least. And they evolve, because you are a very deep thinker when it comes to this stuff. And so we ended up coming up with an idea, and we're calling it the Make It Here campaign. And it's multifaceted.
Couple different layers.
Yes. So we'll touch on a few of those, but I want to start with the career cards.
Yeah. Did we grab any of those? I should have grabbed some of those.
Well, first of all, we're talking into a microphone, so they can't see them.
But we're on YouTube now, so there's always video, which I try not to think about.
I try and avoid the YouTube side of things, so I'm focused on the microphone.
Yes, but I'm sure we can.
We'll show it.
Yes, our lovely producer Ashley will get those photos out. I have no doubt.
Yes. Yeah, the idea of these job career cards was just kind of this awesome kind of epiphany over some coffee and some ideas of really how do we start sparking interest, really even at a younger age.
Yes.
These job career cards are really probably primarily focused on that, sophomore, junior, senior, high school, person that may just not really understand what all the opportunities are here locally to stay locally. I think that's the thing that we're trying to promote is there's some really good jobs, there's some really good careers here in the Fostoria community, and I think we've got a really good idea to start telling that story. And we've got these we had a lot of companies, 26 companies participated,
Yep.
and and some of these employees, were just really excited about doing it, So I think it's going to be received really well.
So when you talk about the career cards, they really, having seen them, they're like a baseball card inspired takeaway of actual local jobs.
Correct.
Yes.
And so this campaign, it's twofold. One, educating people that maybe have lived here their entire life, but don't know about all the businesses that are in their own community, and also educating the youth. Because that's a problem every community is facing. The youth, they're graduating and they're leaving their home community to go to school or to work somewhere else. And so we want people to understand what's available right here in Fostoria.
Yeah. And I think once somebody gets a chance to look at these cards, really, there's a job at any of these locations right now.
And a lot of them do not require a college degree.
They don't.
And that's important because we're seeing that shift where a lot of kids don't want to go to college.
Right. They want to get into the workforce.
They do.
Establish themselves. And really, a lot of these employers are looking for that type of employee.
Yep.
And then when they're ready to invest in themselves, a lot of these employers, they're ready to pay for their education. Whether it's going into a specialty where it's, skilled trades or whatever it might be. It's really awesome what Fostoria and the community employers have to offer.
I agree. So the career cards are more of an exposure piece.
Absolutely. It's letting everybody know there's a variety of job career opportunities and showcasing individuals in the community, just to really almost show off a little bit that they're proud of being with the company they're in.
I do love how on the front of the card is an actual employee at that business, and it talks about what their position is, and on the back it talks about the company and the opportunities, and then ways to find more information.
I'm very excited as we roll these out. There will be a social media campaign associated with them, and we're partnering with the school district to get them out to kids. And I think here in the first quarter we're going to see a lot of traction around these career cards.
I think we're going to have a run on Sharpie markers at Kroger's. People are going to be needing Sharpie markers, to sign their cards.
I look forward to that.
Famous.
I look forward to that. The other aspect of this is a video series.
Yes.
And why don't you talk about the video series, Jason?
So we kind of obviously had a real creative discussion about, what are we doing with video? How are we, putting that out there? How are we going to attract different people? And I think we looked at this as how can we continue to tell a story up from the employer side of things? Again, exposing everybody to really so many companies in town here that you probably drive by them and you really don't even know what they do unless you have a friend or a family member that works there. So this riding around with Renee, which is just great.
Oh, yes.
We've shot our first one. I think it went really well. It's going to be, the baseline of what we do with the other ones. And we're featuring what we call is like a featured or a major employer. So probably 100 people plus employer. And then we are kind of overlapping them and kind of tucking in a small employer as well. Yes. So again, showing both sides of the opportunities of you can work at, a smaller company in town, or, a larger company that has hundreds of employees, and I think it also will show, I think that personal side of either that business owner or the manager that is there. So again, we're kind of getting to know the people behind the company as well. Exactly. So I think that's, again, helping to tell our local story. Because when you say somebody's name that maybe runs a company, you don't really know who they are.
Right.
We're going to try to help you kind of get a little glimpse of who they are, I think, which is kind of really the fun part of it.
It is fun. I did get to see the first episode. Yeah. And the way that the story is told, it's so accessible. It's so personal. You feel like you know the people in the car, and as they travel the community, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's just, I think that the way that the storytelling was done was super thoughtful, and it hits all the areas that needed to be covered. So kudos to you guys.
Thanks. I think it's, I'm not going to take full credit for it because I think you ladies have some really creative ideas. And I think when we can all sit down and really, kind of brainstorm those ideas, I think it takes it to a whole new level. And that's honestly what I love about working with you guys in this office. And for so many of my clients, it's that opportunity to be collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can be collaborative, the creative just gets so much better. And I think our audience, your guys' audience, will see that, we've really tried to, do that with this whole series, talking about workforce and what we're trying to do, because that's kind of our passion of we want to make Fostoria a better place to live, work, play.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, the video series, it also shows the connectivity between some of our larger and smaller industries.
Yes.
Which you don't really think about. I know it's changed my perception on certain things. And again, I think this goes back to an exposure piece. I mean, kids start talking about their careers in like 8th grade is when it starts to get serious. And these videos will be used on social media platforms, YouTube. And so adults can certainly watch them, but they're creative enough that they could be played in an 8th grade classroom. And I hope when these kids see some of these videos and they leave and they think, I want to work for that person, or I didn't know that company did that.
Right.
And I think, I learned some things in that first video. I believe I was corrected on something in the first video.
You might have been.
You might have been.
There's a little stat there.
Didn't take it very well, but I tried.
But part of workforce, another aspect is we need to attract workers to our community, and we need to attract people here. And I think the way that story is told in Writing with Renee is it shows the connectivity and relational nature of our smaller community. And that has attraction to people.
Absolutely.
And it really highlights that piece of the interconnectedness of rural America. And I think that's just another way I think that video series really will help with workforce as well.
Yeah.
Well, and in so much of what we do, we're data driven. And we know that we have over 5,000 people that live in this community every day that leave the community to work outside of it. And we have 3,000 people that come into the community every day that live outside the community to work. And if we can take even 1/4 of those individuals that leave the community every day to work outside in Findlay, Tiffin, Bowling Green, or wherever they're going, that would actually solve our immediate workforce problem within the city of Fostoria. And then with what we're doing with the kids in the schools, that can develop a pipeline to help secure some of these individuals in the long term for our companies. And the last kind of piece of this that we're working on right now is some direct mailer information that will go directly to households that we know have people that are leaving the community every day to work. And it's more of an education piece saying, do you know how much money you could save if you lived and worked in the same community? Do you know the opportunities, the time you can save, the gas you can save, just that component to things. And it may not go anywhere. It may, we don't know, but we want to get it out there. And hopefully our local companies see the value of what we're doing, because I think it should be noted that we have had a lot of partnerships in this. I mean, Jason, of course, you have been an intricate cog of this, but Ohio Means Jobs Seneca County and Carol Owen, because we are doing this at no cost to our local companies, because we understand that they're dealing with a lot of other issues, and if this is something we can help them with, that's value added from our perspective. But I'm very excited about the work that we're doing. I feel a little corny in some of the videos, but it's okay. I mean, you kind of get over it after a while.
When is that video slated to be released?
Probably first part of February.
Okay. Okay.
And we're recording video number 2 in about a week and a half.
Which will be great.
I'm excited.
I love the people that are participating in that as well.
Yes,
I mean, we've got a lot of great people that we are highlighting, which I think, again, is part of the excitement and of what we're doing here.
Well, and I have to say, everyone has been such a good sport.
Yeah, they have.
I mean, when you're talking to CEOs of companies and things like that, and you're saying, okay, we're going to mic you up, and I need you to walk to the car 5 times. Don't forget to smile when you get to the car. I mean, they're team players about the whole thing.
They really have been. Because you think about a traditional CEO, they're about the people in their company, but they're not professional, people that want to be in a video.
Yes.
Right.
That's probably really the last thing they want to do is be in a video, know. But you make it so easy on them.
I try.
We set it up and we try to make everything go real smooth and so yeah, I agree. I think the job cards, I think the video series, I think this direct mail campaign, like you said, we're really just trying to educate everybody to say, hey, if you're working outside this community, there's a significant savings.
Yes.
And I think that's great that because of your office, you're very data driven. It helps everybody understand that, and we're just trying to put that out there so everybody can understand that there is a savings to stay local. Work local.
Absolutely.
And everything that you've rolled out, you're working to try to address the immediate needs by shifting people's thinking to hopefully stop leaving the community, and next time they're thinking of a career change to stay here, but also really trying to tap into that next generation to stay. So I think, great job, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Great job.
And I think there's a lot of great stories to tell.
There are.
And I think to what you just said, I mean, there's a lot of work that is out there for us to tell that story, to make sure that, in 5 years that we're filling those gaps of those employment needs, and we've got to start telling that story now.
We do. We absolutely do. And that's why we've already started talking about some of the next phases.
Yes, what's next?
But we'll talk about that at another time.
Yeah.
But we are already thinking that way, because this is going to be an ongoing process and an ongoing campaign. Because as I said at the beginning of this podcast, this is an issue that is not going to go away.
It's not.
No.
And I think communities that can be creative and think outside the box are where it's at right now. Because you have to get the attention of the people in your community and the kids in your districts.
Yep. And I think we've got some great ideas to lead the way. I think there's going to be people looking at us.
I hope so.
I
hope so. Because, well, I love it when people are looking. So, Jason, is there anything else you wanted to mention before I go into my lightning round of questions?
Oh, jeez.
He just got comfortable, and then you're like, by the way, here it is.
The lightning round.
Yes.
Because we know you're a listener, so you know how this works.
Right.
He's like, yeah.
He's getting red again.
I know he is. Anything he thought he was gonna wrap up about workforce or storytelling, it's gone now. You've scared it right out of him.
I'm done.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Favorite sport?
Man, baseball and football are at a tie, but I gotta add softball in there because my daughter, she's a player.
So we're a 3-way tie.
I think there's a 3-way tie there, and that's only because
somebody's indecisive.
I was gonna say, wow.
of the influence of sports in our family.
Okay, favorite dessert? Okay, don't repeat them after me because you're buying time and that's unacceptable.
This is rapid fire.
German chocolate cake.
Okay.
There you go.
Favorite social media platform and why?
Probably just because of my age, Facebook.
But why?
Because I was an early adopter.
Okay.
I got into it, still kind of keeping with it. I realize there's other platforms out there, and I do, use Instagram, TikTok, those things. But
favorite animal?
Dog.
Lame.
Sorry.
Wow.
Any superpower? What would it be and why?
Any superpower? Jeez. I feel like Captain America.
You scream Captain America,
Because
Jason.
I'm just kind of red-blooded. I'm patriotic.
You are.
I will
There you go.
just,
You're never going to look at Captain America the same
country
way.
flair.
I think we need to get him a shield.
Yeah.
Captain America.
Okay.
I'm
There
going to
you
stick
go.
with that.
Okay.
All right, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for participating.
Thank you for having me.
And the redness is
It's
gone
gone.
away and everything is back to normal.
You made it through the rapid fire questions.
Wasn't bad at all.
See, it's not painful. People
It's not
come
bad.
on and they're so nervous.
You get a lot of anxiety built up over it, but really, you're just sitting amongst friends.
It's true.
It's true.
So,
You're
And
just
if you've
being
had a
recorded.
conversation with us offline, it's very similar to being online.
It's pretty much the
it's
same.
pretty much the same.
Except now we have recorded pieces we can use later, but you know.
It's no color for them.
Right.
Not
Ashley
today.
frowns upon that, so we try and
Keeping it G-rated.
Very PC.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for being with us today and for all the work that you are
Really
doing
appreciate it.
with us on this campaign. We are very excited about it. I know our businesses are excited about it. And we look forward to continuing on this adventure with you.
Absolutely. Great time to be in Fostoria.
All right.
Absolutely is. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And this was another episode of
Shut up and listen
Small Town Stories
with Sarah
and Renee.